All right, I think we're there. Okay. Hey, good evening, everybody. It looks like we're all getting poured in here. I see a bunch of people coming in now into the webinar. So it's good to have you guys. We'll go here in just a couple minutes. Hey, would you do me a favor? In your chat box, we got some exciting homework to do today all together. You're actually going to develop your sales hook during the webinar today, so you have that as part of your arsenal. It's going to help you for conversation starters and basically telling what you do. But what I'd like to have you do first of all is type in your chat box, yes, I can hear you. So we'll do that. Let's do a sound check first. Yes, I can hear you. And let's go from there. So just, okay, Robin says, hello, Peter, I can hear you. Good to see you, Robin. Glad to have you in here. Let's see if anybody else can hear me out there. Just go ahead and say, yes, I can hear you. We'll do a sound check here quickly, and then we'll make sure you can see the screen too before we get going. I'm excited about today. This is going to be a lot of fun for you guys. This is one of the key things that I learned a while back that actually propelled my fear and changed it from being very afraid to talk to people and nervous and anxiety and having, you know, that in the pit of my stomach to making it really natural and pretty powerful. Okay, great. We got Bud and Sandy, Kadija, he's back. Good to see you again, Arca. K-How, how's it going, brother? So good. All right, Ivan, perfect. We got a lot of people answering back now. Could you do me a favor and just make sure before we get going here in the next minute or so, yeah, just type in yes, I can see you. It should say developing your sales hook, my 5-step formula. So put that in, please. Yes, I can see you. Hey, Willard, you haven't been on in a while. It's good to see you. We got, let's see who else. David, Marion, Jonah, Jim, Bill, Jackson, Sanita, Catherine. Boy, there's just a whole bunch of people in here today. So this is good. We'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll get started because I want to get going in presenting this to you guys, and then we'll actually have you guys write something, and then I'm going to show you something at the very end that might be very, very intriguing and something you want to get involved in too as well. So we'll give it one more minute here, and we'll get ourselves rolling. So it's good to see all you guys in here. Hope everybody's had a great week, and hope you guys all got your. I am working on recording the last bits of the Q&A that we did last week, and I hope you guys all liked that. It seemed like you all did. Everybody should have received an email that had the recorded Q&A in MP3, so you can listen to that over and over again. For those of you that did attend, it only went out to the attendees, not the replay people. So if you were in that and you attended throughout the whole thing, then basically you got a copy of that. If you didn't receive, look in your spam box, your junk folder, or whatever, because it did go out to everybody. So Oh, Khadija. Sorry about that, Khadija. Okay, we got you. Khadija. I'll get this right. All right. We're looks like everybody said we got a whole bunch of people said yes, I can hear you, yes, I can see you. So this is recorded, and we are going to be talking today about developing your sales hook. And I have a 5-step formula for you to use. This is actually, if you saw the email from me or the Facebook post, this is actually based on a lot of formulas that top comedians use that you recognize, guys like Jimmy Fallon and Dana Carvey and those guys. It's a very similar way they tell jokes as far as their joke story hooks and things like that, but you can apply it to sales, and it's very, very powerful. And I want to show you, first of all, what it is, and then I'm going to give you a few minutes to actually write your first pass of your own sales hook, so that at the end of the webinar, for those here that are live, you're going to be able to post it. I'll pick a couple, critique a couple, so that you can actually get your first pass done before you leave the webinar here, because I want to make sure that you're able to use this, because a lot of you have told me, I'm really scared to talk to people. I get a lot of no's. I can't seem to, get them interested. This is very, very common in sales. And so the sales hook formula and creating your sales hook is going to be really, really, really good. So, Marion, I'm not sure what's going on. You said, no, I can't see you. Everybody else says, yes, I can see you. So maybe it's something on your computer you might want to check out to see if there's something going on there, or you can see the slides. So, all right, we are going to get started here with the presentation here and move on. We're at 5:05 or 8:05 if you're on the East Coast. So I'm going to start out by I want to tell you, let me tell you a story. Okay, back in 1997, when I first left the corporate world, that was the time when I decided I want to go on my own, and I was sick and tired of all the stuff that the corporate world and the job had to offer. And started my first business. I struggled terribly with being able to talk to people. I almost paralyzed myself with the what if questions, and I'm sure you probably can relate to those kinds of things. Things like, what if I fumble and stumble through my words, and what if I make a fool of myself in telling them, what I do? Or what if I ask them if they're interested in finding out more and they say no? And a lot of you guys have had that happen to you. I used to get that a lot because I just didn't know how to create an interesting story sales hook, okay? Or what if they didn't want to talk to me? I don't know if you've ever had those people with the frowny faces you come up to and it's like, oh boy, here we go. Or worse yet, what if someone asked me, so what do you do for a living? What would I say that didn't sound pushy, like, being a pushy salesperson, or puke up all over them with too much, content and bore them to death, okay? All I knew is I had to have customers if I wanted to grow my business, just like all of you. You have to have customers if you want to grow your business and get revenue. And if I didn't communicate with anybody, I'd fail, and fail miserably. So something needed to change. Then I discovered a really simple technique that I can use everywhere. Talking to people, speaking in emails, in Facebook messages, on the phone, or even over dinner conversations. And it magically opens the door because it gets attention, makes connection, and it inspires action by the prospect. Now I never have to feel nervous and play the what if games in my mind anymore. Plus, I've had a lot of really cool conversations that led to some great business opportunities. It's made me a happier, more confident, and a wealthier person from this. And I can teach it to anyone in about 30 minutes or less. Now, I have to ask you a question. When I went through and I told you that story and you were listening to it, you probably at no time really thought about me selling you anything. I was just telling you a story about my background and what happened to me. So really, what did I do there? Well, I told you a story, okay? But not just any story. It's called a sales hook story, okay? And it has a formula to it. This is what you're going to learn tonight, and this is what you're going to create for yourself before you get done with this, you shut your computer down from this webinar tonight, okay? So this is the same formula that's used by stand-up comedians forever. Like, you recognize these faces: Dana Carvey, Jerry Seinfeld, Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show, which, by the way, is hilarious. I love that show now. Jeff Dunham, you know, the guy that does the ventriloquist stuff, is hilarious. And my all-time favorite, Louis Black. They're all using, every single comedian, whichever favorite comedians you have. These are some of my favorites. They all use the same kind of formula, the story formula, and I'm going to show you what it is here. And I'm going to teach it to you right now. Okay? Here's the comedian's joke formula. They first start with the identity. Okay? They identify, like, you know, when I was listening to Dana Carvey's stuff today. I'm just kind of cracking up. He talked about how, you know, the identity of being the son of a father, and he went into all the stuff that his dad told him. These things, you know, like if you if you spill a drop of that milk while you're going across the floor, I'm gonna break every bone in your body. You know, this is the formula that they're using when they tell their jokes. Is they first start out with that identity, okay? Then they create some kind of a struggle, then a discovery, and then the surprise. And the surprise for a comedian is their punchline, okay? And if you watch, now that you know this formula, identity, struggle, discovery, surprise, if you don't believe me, go onto YouTube tonight, pick any comedian that you like, and watch how they tell jokes, and you'll see this formula that's used over and over and over again, okay? Now, our SalesHOOK formula is almost identical to comedians who tell jokes. The only difference is we use identity, struggle, discovery, the same. Then we use result, and then CTA, or call to action. We added call to action, guys, because we're in business and we want some form of action, whether they opt in for our free report if you're doing Facebook prospecting, or you want to follow up with them on the phone, and you give them a business card so they'll take your call. Remember, I talked about this before in a previous one, and we did a stories one a few weeks back. And I told you after the Q&A we were going to start getting into the stories and building, you know, one of your stories, and that's tonight, the SalesHOOK story. And some of you did your homework, and you did your angel avatar from, you know, and identified your ideal customer. That's your angel avatar, and you repel the devil avatars. In other words, you know who you want to go after and who you don't. And you make that very clear so that the devils stay away from you. Those are the people you don't want to mess around with, and you attract the angels, okay? But along with that, you've got to be able to have your SalesHOOK and tell your SalesHOOK story, okay? And have them do something at the very end. And I'm going to give you some examples, some hardcore examples before you write your own. So you're going to see 3 from different industries. A lot of you are from, you know, different, you know, doing different kinds of things that are on this worldwide webinar. So the question here, though, is why is this SalesHOOK formula, why is it so powerful? Well, here's the answer. Just like the comics, the stand-up comedians, the story that you tell, that you initially tell, whether you're doing it online, offline in print, or in person, it gets their attention, it makes a connection. And I'm going to show you, you know, no crock brain webinar would not be complete. I'm going to show you some science research from Princeton University that shows exactly what goes on in the brain and how the story makes a connection and how powerful it really is. And the third thing it does is it inspires action. So remember, your SalesHOOK story gets their attention, makes a connection, and it inspires action. This is why, if you've been struggling with how do I approach people, or if they ask me, well, what do I do for a living, or you're in a dinner conversation and they ask you that, or you want to put that up on your Facebook page, or your any kind of a business website page that you have for your business, you want to have your SalesHOOK story there. And you want to follow this formula because that immediately tells the person basically identity, right? And it gets into the struggle, the discovery, right? Then you get into the result and then the call to action. So they know exactly what you're all about and what you'd like them to do. And it gets remembered because it's a story, okay? So now, here's where your SalesHOOK should be used. Once you create it, and you're going to have your first pass done tonight, You're going to put it, you can put it up on your website, you can put it in sales letters, you can use it when you're talking to people. If you do videos, you can use it in all your videos when you're talking about before you get into your product or service. You can use it in your demonstrations. I know a lot of you guys do product demonstrations. Basically, you can use your SalesHOOK everywhere because it's almost like your 60-second pitch that is in a very non-salesy way. It's in a story formula. So that's why it's so powerful. All right? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to show you how powerful this SalesHOOK story is. And like I told you, my webinars wouldn't be complete without a Croc Brain Science lesson. So I'm going to show you. In his book, Brainfluence by Roger Dooley, you can look up Roger Dooley, he's a pretty interesting guy. He explains that stories have an almost Vulcan mind meld effect. So I'd take a drink of water there. Okay. You guys all know about, right, Star Trek and the Vulcan mind meld and all the stuff he used to do, and that's a whole other story in and of itself. But the thing is that Princeton researchers found using EEG, which is that electroencephalogram. This is where they put the swimmer's cap on and they measure the neurosynaptic, the electrical connections between synapses in the brain, that when a story is told and received, the neural activities in the brain were identical between teller and receiver. So in other words, guys, here's the thing. The brain activity in the storyteller's brain was the same pattern that was repeated in the listener's brain. Do you see how powerful this is? When you are telling a story and you are explaining something and trying to evoke emotion and inspire action, the activity that is created in your brain from that story is identical to the brain activity of what's going on in the person who's receiving it, your prospect. And like I said, down at the bottom here, guys, this is why when we watch movies, if it's a tearjerker movie, it evokes emotion when we cry at movies. Because this is what's happening, and Princeton researchers now with the EEG technology have proven that the brain activity, the neural activity between the storyteller and the story listener or receiver is exactly the same. Okay? So we actually put ourselves in the movie, in the character's shoes, inside our brain, because this is what's going on. And I hope you're sitting back going, oh my gosh, you know, because this is why I've told you, if you look at, you need to understand, you know, what's going on in the brain, you know, using the Croc Brain selling formulas and things I'm teaching you. That is very, very important. But equally important is your ability to do these kinds of things like tell stories because of what's going on in the brain and the message you get across and the fact that it gets remembered, and it will make that connection, which builds that trust, it builds the desire, and it inspires action. Yeah, Khadija was putting, wow. I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, this is stuff now, and I used to use this stuff, but I told you, a lot of you that are in the Croc Brain Selling Formula membership site, you know, neuroscience has only been around about the last decade. So this is new, pioneering frontier stuff, but we're now finding out and understanding better about what's going on in the brain. Do we have a lot more to learn? Sure. But the thing is that these kinds of things that we're discovering, now applying it to sales, you have power in your hands because you're on this webinar and you're going to be building your SalesHOOK story. Like 99.99% of all other salespeople, they don't. Okay, so if you're using the Croc Brain Science formula techniques combined with storytelling, this is going to really open up your world towards being able to talk, connect, and inspire action in people. And I know I'm belaboring this point, but I'm trying to get across to you that this is how powerful this really is. So here's the thing, guys. We're going to be spending more time. I wanted to give a quick presentation here so you understand the power of this, but really I wanted you to get into doing some work here so we had some good time so you could get the first pass of your SalesHOOK story done. So here's what we're going to do now. First, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of a SalesHOOK story to get you started writing on your own. Now, here's what I want you to do. If you haven't already, you need to go get a notepad and a pen or pencil, or pens or pencils. So while I'm talking here, go grab those right now, because we're going to actually If you just sit there passively and do nothing, then nothing will happen for your business. So you're actually going to be doing some work here tonight, just like we did the Q&A last week. I want you to do your best at writing a first pass of your SalesHOOK story, because this is what you could present to people anywhere and everywhere. This is what you can use when you are first talking to people. If you're nervous, like I used to be, but well, how do I, get into a conversation with a person and let them know what I do that's kind of interesting, and it might inspire some action where they say, boy, that's really interesting. I'd like to learn more about that, okay? So go get your notepad, get your pen, get your pencil, whatever it is you like to use, but you should have that in front of your desk right now, because I'm going to go through the rest of this, okay? And then you're going to write your first pass SalesHOOK story right here, okay, on this webinar. So that was first. Second, that's what I said, you're going to write your own SalesHOOK here on this webinar. And don't worry, I know you're probably going, well, yeah, but I don't remember what he said on the formula. I'm going to put the formula on the screen, and I'm going to give you a good 5 to 7 minutes to write your first pass. Remember, I'm going to show you examples of these SalesHOOK stories. They're not super long. I don't want you to write a whole page. You should be able to get this out to somebody between, in 30 to 60 seconds max, okay? So, but I'm going to give you the formula again. It's going to be up on the screen so you can see it, and you can write, a sentence or two on each of these, okay? So then third, okay, and this is most important. If we're going to do this all together, and yet you can, and you're going to grow in this and use this first one, the SalesHOOK story, to get initial interaction and interest in who you are and what you do. What you're going to do after you write yours out, or if you're typing on the computer screen, whichever way you do it, I want you to type it into the chat box to share. So if you guys all sit out there and have your SalesHOOK stories and you don't type them into the chat box, then no one's going to be able to benefit from that, okay? So you have to promise me that you don't worry and don't be bashful that, oh, my SalesHOOK's not good enough for other people to see, because it is. It's a first pass. You can polish it later, okay? And I write SalesHOOKs all the time for myself and my clients, my consulting clients and things like that are very, very powerful. It just takes a little practice, okay? But I want you to type it into the chat box so that you can share it, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'll pick a couple and I'm going to read them out loud, and I'm just going to do a little mini critique so you really get an idea of how to do this, okay? So I can't read every single one. I want you to type them in there, but I will take a look at a couple. I'll pick a couple out, and we'll just use those, and we'll just do a mini critique. Don't worry, I'm not going to rip yours apart. It's going to be more of just kind of reading and saying, yep, let's identify the different parts that the person did here. Let's say if it's Jonna or Keha or whoever it is, and then we'll go through and say, here's a couple things maybe you could do to add to it or change it, that kind of thing. All right. So, and then, that is going to give you the firepower to polish your SalesHOOK once the webinar is over. Because here's the thing I know to be true over the years and years and years that I went to all kinds of trainings. They're great, right? And you go in there and you learn all this stuff, but 99.99% of the people, and probably including you, because this was me at one time too, you walk out of these trainings and seminars and you never pick up the notebook again. You never crack open anything. You don't ever do anything with it. So basically it was a big waste of time. So if you really want to be able to, and again, I've done surveys, I've talked to people, I've had hundreds of people talk to me about this over the last couple months that have written in or emailed me or talked to me or filled out a survey that these are the things they're having trouble with. I'm having trouble, initially talking to people. I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. I get a lot of no's. I can't seem to get people to say yes. And my sales conversions are bad. Okay? Those are by far and away. And I don't care what product you're selling, what industry you're in, it's universally common. Okay? So, here's some examples now. I'm going to read. I just want you guys, you can take some notes if you want, but I'm just going to read. There's 3 examples here of different SalesHOOKs that I put together so that you get an idea of how these are written. If you notice, they're not really long, but they follow that formula. Remember, the formula is identification, struggle, discovery, right, result, and call to action. Okay, so let me read this. This one is in natural health. Okay, so I'll just read it slowly. Just listen to it, and you're going to see if you can identify those different pieces. All right? All right, let's go with this one right now, natural health. Hi, my name is Stephanie Jessup. 6 years ago, a blood infection I contracted during a routine blood draw left me minutes from death. A heart surgeon saved my life, but the new medications were killing me all over again. Then I discovered a natural solution that helped me get into peak condition and rid myself of dangerous and expensive prescriptions forever. If you'd like to break free from your prescriptions and be healthier and happier, let me send you my Healthy Living newspaper that has stories about people just like you. Now, you can say that just in conversational matter. You can put that on your website. You can put that in print. You can, whatever you want to do. Let me go over identification is what? Hi, my name is Stephanie Jessup, right? That's the identification. Then we go through struggle. Starts with 6 years ago, had a blood infection, left me minutes from death, right? Then what happened? Then I discovered a natural solution. There's the discovery. The result is I was able to rid myself of dangerous and expensive prescriptions forever. And prescriptions forever. You guys know that to be true because if you watch TV, you see all the side effects of these prescriptions, right? They cause blindness, irreversible liver damage, coma, death. I mean, it's amazing what they put up on the TV, and we just sit there and listen and go, okay, I guess that's okay. So that's the result. And then what is the call to action? If you'd like to break free, then there's the call to action. Do you see? There's the formula. That's how it's written in the SalesHOOK. Okay, now I'm going to do another one. This one is for sales training. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Phillips, and I'm a salesman. I've always loved to talk to people, but I got really depressed by all those pushy sales tactics and trials closes I was supposed to learn. It just left me feeling crappy. Then I discovered a breakthrough sales system called the Story Selling Blueprint Formula. It's all about making connection and getting action through stories. Now, I never feel that anxious feeling in the pit of my stomach when I talk to prospects, and all my customers love me. If you'd like to throw out all the BS tactics and achieve success by selling with authenticity, let me send you my story selling book for free. Now, do you see the identification, right? The struggle, got really depressed, all that, left him feeling crappy. The discovery, then I discovered, you see even it says, then I discovered, what he discovered? The story selling blueprint formula, right? The result is he never has that anxious feeling in the pit of his stomach, and his customers love him. And then what's the call to action? If you'd like to throw out all the BS tactics, then get the story selling ebook or book for free. You see, there's the formula again for someone in sales training. Here's a third and final one. This is for, because I know there's some financial planners on here. So this is a financial planner. Hi, my name is Brian Smith, and I'm a financial planner. Growing up, I watched my mom and dad work so hard to make ends meet. At night, I'd hear them talking about how they were feeling stressed because they couldn't save for retirement with all their bills and raising us kids. Then one day, my dad ran into a man who taught him a simple 4-step system for retirement. Now my mom and dad are retired and traveling all over the world, and they built their retirement in just 10 years. If you'd like to use the same simple 4-step formula they did, let me send you my special report for free. Do you see there the identification? Brian Smith, struggling, watched his mom and dad, heard them talking about being stressed. Discovery, then one day my dad ran into a man who taught him the system. The result is now his mom and dad are retired, traveling all over the world, and they built a retirement in 10 years. And then the call to action is if you'd like to use the same. Okay? So you see how this all works. Identification, struggle, discovery, result, call to action. So here's what I want you to do now, guys. We're sitting, we got plenty of time here. I really wanted to, Bill, I like that. Hi, I'm Bill Tree. That's good. That's a good start. That's your identification, Bill. So, guys, I want you to spend some time now, the next few minutes, in writing down, and I want you to write a sentence or two for each step in the formula, okay? Then what you're going to do, remember, is you're going to type that into the chat box after you're all done when we're good. Remember, here's the 5-step SalesHOOK story formula. Identity, struggle, discovery, result, call to action, okay? So here's what I want you to do. We're sitting at 5:28 my time in California here, or 8:28 if you're out in the East Coast, or whatever time it is if you're all over the world. But I want you to just take the next 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll clock the time, and I want you to write out your SalesHOOK story right now, okay? So if you just sit there and don't do anything over the next 5 to 7 minutes, then that's exactly the result you're going to get in your business, okay? But if you're going to, now that you see the power of this and you saw the Princeton study, and you see that when you tell stories, you and the listener are doing that Vulcan mind meld. The brain activity is identical, okay? This is how powerful. And remember, these stories, these SalesHOOK stories, it's the first step, right, in getting their attention, keeping that crock brain sales filter down, making connection, building trust and desire, and inspiring action, which is that call to action, getting them to do something. It's one piece in the series of stories that you need to do, okay? But we got to start somewhere, so you got to start with your SalesHOOK story, okay? When you're first going out and talking to people, or you're first exposing them to your website, or you're first doing a report for them, or you're first doing your Facebook prospecting and your posts, okay? You see, it can be used everywhere. So it's 5:30 right now. Take the next 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to be quiet now. Go through and write your sentence or two for each of these: identity, struggle, discovery, result, and call to action. All right, so let's get going, and I will come back to you guys in about 5:35 to 5:36. All right, go ahead. So I'm just checking in with you guys. You got a couple more minutes. Now, I saw Bill, you put yours in already. That's awesome. Thank you. If you have your SalesHOOK story done, go ahead and start typing it into the chat box, please. I can't read them all, but I will pick a couple. And typically it's the first few that get in. So keep going. Don't keep pushing. Don't be a slagger, like I put in there. If you are done though, as a first pass, get it typed in there, and I'll take a look at it, and we'll read it. I'm going to pick two, and then we'll critique those, and then we'll move forward and wrap up for tonight. Great, thank you, Robin. So we'll give you guys a couple more minutes, 2 more minutes here. Get your SalesHOOK story wrapped up and get it typed in. Remember, we don't want big tomes here. These are all good. They're short, to the point, really good. So that's a good thing. Okay. Guys, you're doing great as a first passer. This is really good. Arca, thank you. You got yours in. Okay, this is good. You guys are getting yours in. So if you're still typing, don't worry about it. Keep putting them in here. And here's what I'll do is at the very end, what I can do is copy and paste these, and I'll give you guys, for everybody that's typing theirs in, we won't read them all. But because you guys did the work and you typed them into the chat box and you're sharing them, if I don't get to yours, you're not one of the two I pick, then I will copy and paste it into an email, and privately I will critique yours. I'll send you an email sometime tomorrow or Tuesday, so that you have a way to at least get my notes on how you could, take it to the next step on your SalesHOOK story. Okay, so keep, if you want me to do that, that's all free of charge. Normally I charge for these kinds of things with my consulting clients, but I'm doing this for you guys because I really want you to get this down, because I'm going to show you some other things we're going to do at the very end of this webinar. Okay. So let's do this. We will start with Bill Treat. I hope that's right. It's not. I hope I'm pronouncing Bill your last name. So I'm going to read Bill's, and then Bill, I'm going to give you so you guys all listen and take notes. If you're still typing in, type in while you're listening. It's all good. Okay, remember, the 5-step SalesHOOK story is what? Identity, struggle, discovery, result, and call to action. Okay, so I'm going to read Bill's, and then Bill, I'll give you, I read yours. It's a really, really good start, and I'll give you a couple minor tweaks that might help you to make it even a little more powerful. Okay, so Bill says, hi, I'm Bill Treat. In the aging process, I felt I would like to maintain a level of health and vitality that I had as a younger person, especially since my job involved a lot of physical work. A friend introduced me to a special water that has given me more energy, mental clarity, and many other benefits. It would be a pleasure to introduce this water and its benefits to you. May I send you a link to some entertaining educational videos, or would you prefer a book or other printed materials? Okay, so Bill, here's, and for all you guys listening, here's my particular comments on that. Okay, first of all, you did identity great. Hi, I'm Bill Treat. And you talked about, you said who you were. Then you went into the struggle. Okay, now, here's what I'd like to do. You need to be a little more personal and really get into more specifically the struggle you went through, okay? Because feeling like you'd maintain a level of health and vitality you had as a younger person, everybody wants that. That's not personalized to you. So get into the personal. You're kind of going that way, and you said, especially since my job involved a lot of physical work. Well, if maybe you're in construction, you might want to say something like, I've been in construction. Now, I'm not saying you're in construction, but if you were in construction, I've been in construction for years. Every night I would go home and my back would just be aching. And I'd wake up in the morning and I had to take pain pills just to get out of bed. And then you want to say the discovery process, a friend introduced me to the water, to a special water. You might even be a little more literal. Then I discovered a special type of water that a friend had given me that gave me more energy, mental clarity, and then many other benefits is too general. So be specific. It's good to pick 3, but don't just put "and many other benefits," because that means nothing to the person in telling the story, okay? That's like saying etc. All right, so just get a little more specific on, what the result was for you personally, okay? And then I like the end. You give a call to action that's a yes or a yes. The only thing is, again, that's I can't even say it. Being more specific, specificity, I think it is. But you got to say, can I send you I love the link to some entertaining and educational videos. And then, or would you prefer, and then be specific. Just printed materials, they don't know what that means. I mean, so be specific. Say, or would you prefer a book on entitled whatever, or a magazine on, like Jerry's magazine on, the hydration, hardcore hydration, that talks about being able to, be at your top of your game as an athlete. Do you see what I'm saying, Bill? So just get a little more specific, be a little more personalized in the struggle that's tailored to you, okay? And then, maybe even then I discovered through, this water special. I love the special water because it doesn't say, I think you're in Kangen water. It doesn't say Kangen water, but I love the special water piece. That's really, really good. Okay, so Bill, I hope that helps. Let's see, we'll pick another one here. Okay, Robin. We'll do Robin's now. Robin says, hi, my name is Robin, and 10 years ago I was in a near-fatal car accident, which left me pretty much like Humpty Dumpty in the burning car on the side of the road in Russia. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that isn't awesome that happened to you, but it's awesome the way you're writing this, okay? Really, really good, very personal, okay? Since then, I had to learn to walk and talk again. A couple of years ago, I was introduced to this natural supplement that has been must be shown to help rebuild cartilage and joints, which has helped many of my bones and joints heal beyond what my orthopedic surgeon thought possible. If you are interested in learning more, please contact me so we can talk and start you on the road to more mobility and less pain. Okay, so here's some things for you, Robin. First of all, identity's good. The struggle, excellent. You painted a visual picture of a lot of pain that you were in that was personalized to you. Where you get a little bit weak is on your discovery, okay? you're introduced to this natural supplement that has been shown to rebuild cartilage and joints, which has helped many of my bones and joints heal beyond what the orthopedic thought. Be more specific on the result, okay? So talk about how it eliminated your pain, or it helped you go from being out, a walker, going around with a walker with tennis balls on it to being able to jump up and down stairs. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to personalize it more to you, okay? So you're just being a little too general. People don't relate as much to general as they do specifics as it relates to you. They can remember the movie. Remember I talked about that. You want them to become the character in the movie, and the character in the movie is you. So you got to be a little more specific there, okay? And then the call to action. I would be even more direct. I would say something like, I think after, from listening to my story here, that you may be compelled enough to really want to talk to me about this and see if it could give you, and then be really, specific, okay? So it might be on arthritis. If it's, and that's where you can change up your SalesHOOK story at the call to action depending on who you're talking to, okay? So just a little more specific there, okay? We're going to do one more here, and then we will, and remember guys, you're all putting yours in. I'm really, you're really doing a good job, and then there's a couple questions, and I'll answer it. But remember, you guys, if I don't pick yours on this third one, then I will certainly. You guys are all doing this. I will certainly respond back to you and give you some, some pointer tips, either recorded, you can listen to the MP3, or I'll just type it in. But you'll get some in the next couple days from me in email. All right. Let's do this. Where are we? We'll do this one. So this is from Alan Jewett. Hi, Alan. How you doing? We're going to do yours, Alan, and then remember, all the rest of you guys, I'm going to pick. I will respond back to you. Don't worry. I'll help you out with yours. You guys are doing just from scanning some of these, really good first pass. You guys are getting this whole idea of the SalesHOOK story and how powerful. So Alan says, "Hi, I'm Alan Jewett. I started a business 30 years ago, which is still successful. However, as time went on, it became more of a job for me and lost its shine. I was feeling low about my life. I really wanted more freedom in many ways. Then I was introduced to a product which not only helps people get healthy and stay that way, but also had an unbelievable business opportunity. It changed everything. If you want to find out about it, I can send you some information and tell you about it." Okay, so Alan, again, see, there's a pattern here, guys, and this is where I had to do the same thing, and this is where the polish work comes in. First of all, identity was good. They know who you are. Your struggle is not specific enough. Okay, you talked about having a business being successful, but get into the specific aspect, get into the emotion. Okay, so you said, however, as time went on, it became more of a job for me and it lost its shine. I was feeling low about my life. Those are very generalized statements. Maybe something like, it got to the point where I had trouble getting out of bed in the morning and I was depressed every day and I was not feeling very happy about my life or the future for my family in me being present to them as, whatever, as their father or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Make it a lot more in touch with your, the emotional connection of what you went through, okay? Everybody goes through these things where they don't like their job and feel low in life, but you've got to connect. Remember, think about stories, any movie you've read, watched, and you'll see some ones in here like Star Wars or Wizard of Oz or Casablanca, or any stories, be really famous stories, big ones lately like Harry Potter. They have to tell the story so that they're connecting with the character in the story. You got to reveal more about yourself so they can connect with you, okay? And I would say something not, I was introduced, but then I discovered a product. And you got to be more specific, not just say not only helps people get healthy and stay that way, but also has an unbelievable business opportunity. And what's going to happen in their branding is go, yep, it is unbelievable, and I don't believe you. Okay, so in other words, be careful about that unbelievable business opportunity, because what looks to be too good to be true probably is. So in other words, reword that, Alan, so that you're getting that specific result. So in other words, you might, and it's personalized to you. You say, then I discovered a product that, and then be specific about what it did for you, not for other people, and then say, and by the way, it's provided me this kind of result in extra money, in extra, and I have extra, 20 hours a week to spend time with my grandchildren or my children. Do you see what I'm saying? Be a little more specific, because speaking in generalities and stories doesn't really make that connection or inspire any kind of action. Okay, I hope that makes sense, Ellen. I'm not, trying to, by all means, guys, any of these that I talk about, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just trying to give you, the real get into it, because if you follow a movie star, an athlete, Steve Jobs, let's see, what else? Any kind of movie, any kind of person, any show. If you guys watch, do you guys watch Food Network Star? So you want to be a Food Network star, or you watch Big Brother on TV, or you watch So You Think You Can Dance, or American Idol. As the show goes on, it's not about the talent, it's about the person behind the talent. That is what sells those shows, or any reality show that's good, that stays on for a long time. So you are your own reality show, so to speak, and they've got to know the story of you. That's what the SalesHOOK story formula is all about. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. We've got a bunch of these in there, and thank you for doing this. Bill, you're welcome. I hope that helped you. Let's see, there was a couple. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Bud and Sandy said, what if you don't have a big recovery story but just are staying healthy? Well, Bud and Sandy, what I would do is still, that's okay. If you've been healthy your whole life, there was specific personal reasons. You said you're an adjunct distributor, and I know who you are. Then give the specific personal reasons why you decided to become an adjunct distributor. And it could be both from health and business. But be specific in the struggle and what you were struggling with as it related to your life. Okay, it could be, and I don't know your story, but I'm making things up hypothetically for all you guys listening on the call, because I don't know Bud and Sandy's situation. So hypothetically, Bud and Sandy, let's say you were having trouble and you couldn't retire, and you didn't see the end in sight, and you were getting older, and you didn't want to work until you dropped dead, and that was really kind of depressed you. And so one day you were, doing your own thing, and I discovered this water, and from so-and-so. Do you see what I'm saying? And then it helped me in that aspect. Or I was getting very concerned because I was reading all the reports from the American Cancer Institute about 1 in 2 men getting cancer and 1 in 3 women getting cancer. And it would keep me awake at night because I was worried, was I going to become one of those people in the statistics and all of the chemotherapy and the pain and the possible death that could happen from getting cancer. Okay, you see, you're not coming out making any medical claims. You're just telling the story of what got you to be concerned enough to want to stay healthy, okay, and do that. So I hope that answers the question, okay? David said, I posted my story. I don't see it. David, I think, David, it says, I have a good whose name is Gerald. Gerald was a helicopter pilot. That must be you. I see it here, so I hope that answers the question if you're the right David. Okay, good. Robin says she's going to use it tomorrow after an event. Robin, do that and tell me how it works for you tomorrow at the event. Send me an email, okay? Khadija, that's okay. Don't worry about it because you're rushed. You'll get better and better. This is the first pass. Let's see. So we got everything. So let's see. Tried to tried to do, Khadija, you said try to do this 5 steps in a short story about Russia. That's okay. A lot of this, guys, it's just like, you remember when you were little and you were learning how to ride a bike, and like the first time it was really wobbly and you had to have training wheels, and you almost felt like you fell. Some of you guys maybe don't remember that far back, but maybe you do. But the thing is, it takes practice to get good at anything to a point where you can take the training wheels off and just ride your bike. And then here's the thing. It's like, this is like riding a bike. When you do this, is once you get it down, once you can write all these SalesHOOK stories and get really, really good for different kinds of situations, you can do them on the fly. That's what I do. I don't make stuff up about me, but I make up different pieces of it, but I always follow this identity, struggle, discovery, result, call to action when I'm talking in front of groups, or I am talking to people one-on-one, or I'm providing a Facebook post, or I'm doing messaging in Facebook or LinkedIn, or a report for any kind of stuff I'm doing for consulting or business or any kind of thing. Okay, so it all works. Kehal, you said, "Wow, Peter, this is the Reader's Digest version of my story." That's good. I'm not sure what that means, but maybe you could elaborate, Kehal. You could do it privately too if you want. Just hit the private button. But I'm glad that it works. Okay, so we're going to keep moving now. I think you guys have a really good idea as to the SalesHOOK story formula. Okay, so now we did the sharing. You weren't bashful. You put the story in the chat box, and we went through a few of them so you could see, and I answered some questions. And like I said, don't worry, you guys. Ivan, you just put yours in. I'm going to copy and paste those, and I will respond back to all that. Deb, you're very welcome for the useful info and analysis. Okay, so here's the thing. Just to wrap all this stuff up, guys, is you're probably thinking to yourself right now, well, this is great. I've got my SalesHOOK to make a connection and get interest, but as with always, there's different steps. What are the next steps to get to a sale? Okay, the SalesHOOK, really what it's doing is it's getting you that attention from the person, getting connected neurally in the brain to make that connection, building the trust, and then aspiring some type of action. But you can't walk up to somebody with a SalesHOOK and get all the way to, hey, buy my product. It just doesn't work that way. There's some other stories that you need to create along the way, because now you talked about yourself, but now what we got to do is we got to connect with them in their inner dialogue and what's going on in their core desires inside their own head, okay? And that is what's going to do what's called these internal decision triggers to get to the sale, to increase your conversion rates, okay? So the answer to that is there's a set of stories, okay? Now, there is a story formula that I've discovered that connects with a prospect's inner dialogue that builds such desire it triggers their decision to buy, and it will definitely help you in your conversion rate. And I'm going to show you how powerful this really, really is. You've got to remember, guys, this is really, really key. People, and this is you included, if you read the statement, you go, yep, that's true, because it is true. People don't want to be sold, they want to buy. You don't want to be sold. When you go to a car lot, you want to buy a car. You don't want to be sold a car. Okay, and it's true with everything, with clothes, food, anything that you are purchasing in life, you want to buy it, you don't want to be sold it. Okay, now I've received hundreds of requests from people all over the world asking for a method so they don't get told no so often, or they can close more sales. This is so common, and whether you're a small business owner, an independent salesperson, all of that kind of stuff, and everything in between. People, I do other webinars, I talk to other people, I do consulting, I do seminars, and I get a lot of this. Hundreds and hundreds of people. This is really the two common things, and you're probably going, yep, that's me too. So, in fact, guys, lately it's kind of been taking a life on its own. I've been getting a lot of these requests on a daily basis, okay? So what I did is I thought long and hard about this, and I put together what I've learned and done over 15 years when I sell, okay? And it's called, this is what I'm calling it the story selling blueprint formula, okay? And I want to share with you what this is. It's a 6-week workshop where I'm going to work with a small handful of people, and and I cannot take everybody in this, so it's going to be a small handful of people, and you'll learn why here in just a second. And here's what I'm going to teach these people, or teach you if you're part of that small group. Number one, how to define your ideal customer so that you're not chasing or attracting bad customers or bad business builders. I mean, everybody's had these. I've had them, and they're just not fun. You know, they just are bad energy and they suck the life out of you. So you want to find your ideal customer, client, or ideal business builder to go after. Okay. Number two, how to craft your master sales hook so you get attention and interest. Now remember, this is a workshop, so I'm working with this small group of people and giving a lot more feedback than I can even do in this webinar. Okay. Number three, how to craft what we call your herald story to create high internal desire to learn more about what you have. That herald story, if you remember the movie Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi came to the planet Tatooine, started talking to Luke Skywalker. He did the herald story, which was his call to adventure. You have got to knock these people, connect with their inner dialogue and their core desire to bring them from known to unknown. This is the herald story that you will create, that you will have, that will get their attention and get them across that threshold into wanting to learn more about your product or service. Okay, it's very, very powerful. Number four, how to create your transformation story to show how they can get the results they desire. So in other words, you've connected with their inner dialogue. Now you want to get the results. You want to show them how they can get the results they desire by using your product or service. Remember, I've talked about this in the Croc Brain formula. Now we're going to use all those things applied to how to write your transformation story. Number five, the fifth week, will be how to craft your ownership blueprint story so the customer sees how everything ties together and can get the results they desire. When you start doing these things in this right process, price is not so important anymore. I know a lot of you guys get this whole, well, how much is it? Or, wow, your product is really expensive. Why? Because you haven't done any of this stuff. You haven't connected with their inner dialogue and their core desires and anything through these stories you tell. And by telling stories, it creates the curiosity. The curiosity keeps the sales filter down. This really, guys, you're going to see just how powerful this really is, okay? And then the sixth week, it's a bonus week. I'm going to take you through how you take your story selling blueprint stories that you've created and implant them everywhere, online and in print or offline when you're speaking to people, okay? So you're going to see just in this 6-week workshop how really powerful these stories are and the process you use them to present to people. Now, this story selling blueprint formula is the same one, guys, you're going to learn that was used when George Lucas created Star Wars, which you all have probably seen and know, when L. Frank Baum wrote The Wizard of Oz, or Casablanca, or Harry Potter, or the Pixar movie Toy Story, or the Disney movie Finding Nemo. And it goes on in books and everything. All of the things that you see that are landmark popular, they all follow this story selling blueprint formula. Okay, that includes that sales hook story that you just did, but there's more stories to be told. You know, and I could go on and on and on about this, and all the different movies, all the different books, and all the different speeches by famous people, they all use the same formula to basically get attention, make connection, and inspire action. Some of you are old enough to remember John Kennedy when he made that speech about going to the man on the moon. It's classic story selling blueprint formula for you people that are older on this call. Okay, this is powerful stuff. So, in my opinion, it is the most powerful blueprint in the world, because I'm going to show you how to use it applied to sales, but it's being used in Hollywood and by all the most powerful authors. Everybody that is in the public eye, when they do speeches, they all use the same formula. Now, what I've done is take it and put it into a formula that you can learn and apply to sales in your business. It's the formula I've used for years. Now, I didn't really have a formula. I was just doing what I did to make a connection and inspire action. But as I started learning more and more, not only about the brain science stuff, but about the power of story all the way back to my initial interaction with Joseph Campbell back in 1982, I think, or 1983, and his whole hero's journey. I started putting all this stuff into action, and that's what resulted in this story selling blueprint formula. Okay, so the story selling blueprint formula workshop, it's going to be a beta version. Okay, I want to make sure that you're really clear. In other words, you're the first to get your hands on this and help me develop the coursework by doing the homework and asking me questions. And I think you guys are pretty good at asking questions because you did a lot of that last week. You guys that are on these calls that are following, you're going to be the first in the world to get your hands on this, okay? And because remember, I'm limiting attendance because I really want to work with a small group of people so we can get some interaction. I can critique your stuff, and you can walk away with your story selling stories that you can use everywhere and know where to use them. And because you're helping me out, you're going to get a 90% discount on the price when I roll out the finished version. So people who don't get in the very first part of this are going to not be able to be part of this beta class. They'll still get the the workshop with me, but they're going to be paying a whole lot more because I've developed it with you. So if you plug in with me for the 6-week workshop and you do your homework, you're going to walk away with your entire storytelling collection for your business that you can use over and over and over again to do those 3 things: get attention, make connection, and inspire action. Whether it's to get them to take a look at your stuff initially with the SalesHOOK formula, or connect with their inner dialogue to build that desire and trust, or show the transformation of how your product and service is connected, and then go through the ownership blueprint of here's all of the connection points and really how this ties into what they value. So it builds such value that they look on your product or service and go, wow, this is just a bargain. By the way, I have a friend of mine, his name is Jeff Walker. He uses the same thing in a launch formula. He's made over $20 million over the last few years using this exact same thing. So it's up to you really how you use it and how you put it into play. The money you make, I can't, I'm not you, but I'm telling you that these things work very well. They work for me whenever I talk to people. They're very powerful because they're combining that brain science with a storytelling formula or story selling formula. Okay. Now the bad news is this, guys. Right now, there's no way you can buy this. I don't have it for sale. But the good news is I have a link you can go to in order to get on the waiting list, okay? So being put on the waiting list lets me know that you're interested and you want to get early bird notification to be part of the first group. Now, you're one of many webinars I'm doing and other things I'm doing with consulting. People are coming in from all over the world. You happen to be one group that I do talk to and I help amongst other groups, okay? So if you want to get on the early bird notification list to be part of that first group, here's what you have to do. So you just got to go to this link right now. You see the crocbrain.com, so www.crocbrain.com/story. Okay, so write that down because remember, I'm going to limit the number of people in this first workshop. Okay, we're going to start this thing up. I'm working on the course curriculum right now with actually a lady that I'm working with. I will reveal who she is. She's a heavy hitter. She is connected in the Hollywood and entertainment industry as far as working for some very talented people in the movie industry and connected with agents and story writers and all that kind of stuff. So again, you're going to get some horsepower here that is going to really, really help take your sales and your business, your sales game and your business to a whole new level. Okay, so write this link down, the www.crocbrain.com/story. Okay, now what's going to happen is when you go over there, if you look, there's going to be a little, it's going to tell the story kind of what happened and why I did this, which you're hearing already. The top you're going to see there's going to be beta workshops, the story selling blueprint formula, 5 steps to sales conversions using stories. Okay, and then at the very bottom you're going to enter your name, your entire name, your email address, and your phone number, and then just click. You see there, click on that yellow button. Okay, that yellow button, just get on the list. You're not buying anything right now because there's nothing for sale. But if you want early bird notification and you want to be on the list so that when I do launch this in the next about 30 days or so, on or before 30 days, you can participate, and you're going to get this thing for 90% off of what I'm normally going to charge, because this has made the movie industry movies. It's made people I've worked with. It's made me a whole lot of money. Okay, so it is something that has been asked for over and over and over again. And there's different people I'm working with in the background. And like I said, there's a lady that I'm going to introduce to you guys that is part of who has connections in the entertainment industry and the Hollywood industry, in as far as movies and book writing and books to movies and all that kind of stuff. And she's going to be working with me. We're going to be doing this together. Very powerful lady, been around years and years and years in the book publishing and movie script and all that kind of stuff industry. And you're going to get me, and we're going to do this workshop. And the thing is, this is not something like you're going to go in and watch videos. This is, you're going to do this workshop with me. We're going to present a topic. We're going to go through the worksheets of like how to do a Herald story or a transformational story or the ownership blueprint story. Then you're going to create it. Then you're going to send it to me, and we're going to critique it and make sure that you have your stories on path, just kind of like what we did as a little tasting and sampling today. So, guys, if you want to really take your sales game and your business to a whole new level, then I would highly advise you to do the www.crocbrain.com/story. Go, you could read what's on there, but if you just follow the red arrow down to the very bottom of the page, just to get on the waiting list, and enter your entire name, enter your email address, and enter your phone number, and then click on the button, get on the list. That way, because I said I'm going to limit attendance, okay, to this. That way you're going to be able to be that first group that can go through this beta workshop at the discounted price. You'll still get the same result as everybody else, but I'm going to be asking you questions about things like, well, what did you like about this? What didn't you like? What questions that you still had in your head that I didn't answer? That's going to help me, because you're going to have these things anyway, but it's going to help me to really flesh it out and take that workshop to a whole new level for people, okay? So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this particular webinar here on the SalesHOOK story formula. How comedians use it for years, how it's been used in the entertainment industry, and now how you, since you have your first SalesHOOK story done, how you can use that. And Robin, I'm excited to hear about how that works for you tomorrow. And maybe you can share that in the chat next week too with everybody. But the thing is, guys, I will take a look. I have your stories here, and so Deborah said, hold on, let me take a look here. What I'll do is, let me see. Deborah's, let's see. Okay, so something's wrong with let me take a look here. I'll look and see to make sure the link is working. Make sure that, okay, it came up on mine. So let's do this. I'm going to give you also another link just to make sure that you guys can get into this thing. So hold on. Let me go to that. You'll have to write this one down. This one's a little bit longer, but it will get you to the exact page if it says, if you're having some trouble getting in there. So let me type this up here for you. And I can also, what I'll do too is all you guys that are in here, I can email you to tomorrow with all of this. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's go back up one. And this is another way to get at the... Oops. Sorry about that. Just a second here. Let me get rid of that. We're going to just do this on the fly. All right, let's try it again here. Nope. Grab that link again. All right, here we go. Just a moment here, we'll get this. I think I can get this done for you here on the fly. All right, let's try this. All right, I'm going to type it in. So you guys got it. Sorry about the delay here. So it is www.storysellingBlueprintFormula. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can get everything on a line. And then it will be, let's see, .com/register, and then / this is where it gets kind of goofy, page / page, and then _ID = 5. Okay, so go back to this here. Let me make this smaller. Okay, so this is, I'm going to leave it up here for a second here, guys, so you can see it. So this is what you want now. It's www.storysellingBlueprintFormula.com, and then / over here / register, and then / and there's a question mark there, and then page, PAGE. Hold on. Yeah. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, this is messed up. Just a second. Oops. Okay, now we got it. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is it here. It's www.storysellingBlueprintFormula.com / register / and then question mark, and then page, and there's an underscore. Okay, you have to do it like a shift and then hold down the hyphen. That's _ID = 5. Okay, so I'll leave that up so you can see that. There it is. You can see the underscore is right there. Don't miss the underscore. If this page is not working, the crocbrain.com / story, then go to the www.storysellingBlueprintFormula.com / register / question mark page, PAGE _ID = 5. And that one does work. And some of you, Daniel said this same link you sent to me some days ago. Yeah, it might be. If you're on the list already, then don't, you don't have to register again. But if you have, okay, Robin says it works. Perfect. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you guys are able to get on there and sign up for this group thing, because, like I said, I'm going to limit the attendees on this thing, and I want to make sure you're on the early bird list. Okay. Keha, hey, you're welcome. Good one today. Big mahalos. Yeah, mahalo. You're welcome. Back to you. Catherine, link did not work for you, so hopefully that link I just put up there is now working. So you can do, Khadija, same thing. Use this other link, and that will take you through, because Robin said that one works. I'm sorry about the other link. I try to make that simple for you, but with technology sometimes doesn't always work. Okay, and Ernestine, yes, just type in your SalesHOOK story, Ernestine, here, and I'll make sure that I copy and paste it, and I can get back to you on yours, Ernestine. But Insanity, I hope you're still back. You got your audio back. Catherine, your critiques have been very helpful. Hey, no worries. We want you to do well on this thing. Okay, so somebody asked, where do we go to register once we get to the page? Go down to the bottom. At the very bottom, you're going to see, let's see, let me get on the right thing here. At the very bottom, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see this. Please enter your information. It's right here. Enter your information to get on the waiting list for the Story Selling Blueprint Formula Workshop beta launch on or before 30 days from now. And you'll see it says you enter your entire name, your email address, and your phone number. So you can, and then click on the yellow Get on the List. So for that person asking that question, it's there. I put a story up there on the page. This is kind of like the top and the bottom of the page, so scroll all the way down. It's there on that page. And remember, this is the page to go back to. Let me get that back up there. So you want to, I guess you're going to want to have to use this second one here. So the www.storysellingBlueprintFormula.com/register/? Page underscore there, and then ID equals 5. And this is all that crazy tech speak. That's why these guys make a lot of money, because they make it so confusing for all you guys. But that's the link, and that'll take you there. So, David, it's all right. If you're already registered, you don't need to register again. Just make sure you are if you want to be on the early bird list. And that way you've got it. And we're going to get into some fun stuff, guys. You know, for all you guys that are still hanging out with me here, and I really appreciate it. A couple of you dropped off, but most of you are still on. You know, if you go, and I've talked about this in Croc Brand Selling Format, you know how powerful. You guys have all seen Star Wars, right? Well, and I'm going to talk about the hero's journey. In Star Wars, you know, Luke was on planet Tatooine, right? Now, as the story goes, so he's out there doing his own thing. He's having his life and his reality, and he's working, you know, finding these robots, and he's got R2-D2, and then I can't remember the name, like the gold robot. But anyway, you guys probably remember better than I do. You know, he's living with his aunt and uncle, and Obi-Wan Kenobi comes, and he says, Luke, you know, it's time. You got to go help. The dark side's coming. You got to go help the Force. You're a Jedi Knight. And Luke goes, now, sorry. He's what's called the reluctant hero. Okay, so the herald story. Who's the herald? Herald is Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so then what happens that forces him across the threshold is, right, some of the stormtroopers come, and they kill the aunt and uncle, and they burn down his house, and so he has to go. So now he's on his call to adventure into the unknown. So where does he go first? Remember in the movie, he takes his fighter plane, and he goes up to that, I can't remember the name of the planet, where Yoda is in the swamps, and he starts learning, and he's going through the whole, this is the whole trials and tribulations and abyss and death. This is the transformation, okay? And he is now connecting with, and he's, you know, he's got this inner dialogue that he's fighting, and he's trying to connect with it, and he's starting to see how this all, you know, is put together. That's those inner desires and connections. Along the way, he meets some of the people who are their herald, their mentors and helpers. Who are those? Han Solo and Chewbacca and Princess Leia, and you know, they go through this whole ordeal and trials and tribulations of fighting Darth Vader and all of the stormtroopers, right? And then finally they get into realization. They vanquish the villain, and they come into the inner realization of, you know, why they were there, to come back to community and be the heroes, right? So that internal realization that they have propels that decision and the decision trigger. So, and guys, if you think about this, this is the same thing that happens in The Wizard of Oz. If you want to go through that same thing with these different stories, you'll see it. Watch the movie Casablanca again. It's the same exact thing. Harry Potter, all those Harry Potter movies and all the Harry Potter books. The new movie 50 Shades of Grey, which is a spin-off from the Harry Potter. E.L. James is a pen name who was a fan of Harry Potter, started, you know, writing all of these seductive things, and the 50 Shades of Grey movies coming out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, C-3PO. Thank you, Cal. You remember that. But guys, if you look at all of the things you remember, you know, Toy Story was great. Finding Nemo. Remember what happened in Finding Nemo for all you guys that had little kids at the time, right? Nemo gets, you know, taken, and he goes over to this dentist's office in the fishbowl, and the dad's got to go out in the deep, off the edge, right, the cliff, and he goes through, you know, on the Gulf Stream, and he finds the, you know, the dopey turtle, and, you know, the whole story. That, who is that? The turtle is a helper advisor, but he gets the herald calls. He's got to go save his son, right? He's got to go through the trials and tribulations and the death and abyss, which is actually the abyss of the ocean. And he goes to the other side, and he rescues his son and brings it back into, you know, it goes through the whole aspect of realization. So there's this whole attention or awareness, understanding, and realization. But in sales, it's all about the herald story. the ownership story with this, or the transformation story and the ownership blueprint story, which connects all that, that really inspires that action, that is such a powerful connection with what their internal desires are and their internal dialogue, okay, that a lot of people are compelled to buy, okay? So you'll see when you do these stories and you present them to people in the right way, following this hero's journey, and I'm going to teach you all about this. This is not something I created. This is something from Joseph Campbell. The guy was a genius. He died in 1987. But you know, if you've traveled all over the world, and I did that early in my days in the corporate world, you will see that there are cultures and languages and things that go on that are timeless, and this is what this hero's journey is all about, the power of myth and telling these stories, but doing it in a sales fashion. So guys, we went on long enough. I hope you guys go off and you got this now. You wrote these this link down the bottom. Link will work for sure. Some people are telling me yes, it's working. So go, if you want to be part of this whole beta, get yourself registered. So Bill says, you remember Roosevelt Churchill. Man, that's before my time. Well, Bill, that you even can relate to this stuff even more. But I'm telling you guys, if you want to learn this and create your, do the workshop and actually create your powerful stories, that for the people that that I work with, and even some of my business mentors who've made millions by selling with these kinds of stories, I just put it into a story selling blueprint formula so that you actually know how to do this, and then you're going to learn how to use this in print, online, talking to people, Facebook posts, social media, everywhere. Very, very powerful stuff. So thank you guys for being on today. I will copy and paste your different SalesHOOK stories. You got the first piece started. Now you just need to get the rest of all those pieces in place, and you'll be on your way to taking your game and your business to a whole new level. Okay, so listeners, if you have any other questions, go ahead and throw that in there, but we've run out of time for this week. Good job, good work today, guys, and you that did not get your stories critiqued will be hearing from me tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll respond back and give you some pointers on your particular story. Okay, with that, have a great night, guys. Thanks for being on, and we will see you again next Sunday. All right, bye-bye.